So that earthquake got quite a lot of attention internationally. I posted a few videos to Instagram and my YouTube accounts and over on Facebook, and a few news channels picked it up over in the West, in the States and Australia. I was invited to do a few interviews with them. This is how it went. It's only 2 minutes long.
To the west of the epicenter, a man living in Taichung City captured this video inside his apartment.
But this one was by far the biggest one, the most violent one.
The quake is the strongest reported in 25 years.
It's still kind of happening. Like, my apartment shakes from the aftershock every 20 minutes or so.
Prazi is a YouTuber who's lived in Taiwan for the past 6 years.
Seeing how the locals react to it made me feel a lot more comfortable. A lot of people just sort of walked out of their buildings and checked on their neighbors and made sure everyone was okay, and that kind of made me feel a lot more calm. But definitely as it was happening, I was like, oh man.
And I wanted to make today's video because I was shocked at some of the questions they were asking. Oh cool, there's the Taichung MRT going on behind me. Yeah, some of the questions were very interesting. I was surprised by some of them. A few of the questions were like, did you see any of the devastation around? And I was like, devastation?
When you left your apartment and walked around, did you see some of the damage?
And I think there's a reason why they think that way. I think they see a few videos of some toppled over buildings and some destruction that happened over in Hualien where the epicenter was. And while that was tragic, and there has been a few things that went wrong, although again, it just happened yesterday, so I don't know the full extent of the damage just yet. I think they assumed it was all over the island, and so they're asking me these questions. But just to show you what's really going on, I'm going to do a bit of traveling. I'm on my way down to Kaohsiung. I'm going to take the high-speed rail. Just got to the station now. I'm assuming it's going to be an absolute madhouse because it is a holiday today. I want to show you guys the train we're about to get on and just how quiet and considerate Taiwanese people are in public. There's a reason I'm going to show you this. Just hang on. So you can see just how quiet that train is. The reason I show you that is because here's a video of the MRT up in Taipei. Where people are being very quiet, even though that MRT is being shaken super violently. People are still super quiet, refuse to scream, refuse to panic. Anyways, I've made it to Kaohsiung, but I have a pretty big problem. I can't find my HSR ticket. So I'm gonna go ask for some help. 找不到我的票，那个高铁的票，知道吗？
Where are you come from?
Taichung.
Taichung.
I have a video because I'm a YouTuber, so I film myself buying the ticket.
Share the moment. I will just send you out. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so thank God the people that are working here were incredibly kind and friendly, and I showed them the video of me buying the ticket, which felt ridiculous. We both had a laugh about it, and they let me through. So anyways, it's time to find my hotel, explore Kaohsiung and see some of the damage, some of the devastation that the news wanted reporting on that I failed to give them because, well, Taichung is fine. Let's see how Kaohsiung held up. So I think one of the things that these Western reporters don't understand or don't know about is that 25 years ago, Taiwan experienced an earthquake that was way worse. It was a lot worse as far as like damage is concerned and lives lost. Everyone in Taiwan knows about it, but not a lot of people around the world know about it. That earthquake left a pretty horrible memory in the minds of Taiwanese. Hi, I'll check in.
Check in?
Sure.
Sure, okay. It's on 6th floor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. One of the positive things that came out of this earthquake is that Taiwan started to prepare their buildings for this type of thing if it happens again. And so all the buildings here are built to withstand major earthquakes. I mean, I just took the high-speed rail the day after a major earthquake. It was totally fine. I mean, aside from me losing the ticket, but I mean, the train itself, perfectly fine. That's one of the things I learned about Taiwanese people. I mean, I know I mentioned it in my last video, but just I learned how resilient Taiwanese people are and how calm they are under pressure. Now, I said this to the reporter from Insider Edition that one of the reasons that I make these videos about Taiwan is to put more eyes on Taiwan and get people interested and show people what Taiwan is really like. And these reporters aren't here, they're back in the West in whatever country that they're in, and so I think they get this idea that there's just mass devastation and destruction across Taiwan, but I wanted to show you guys what it's really like here, walking around. I showed you Taichung in my last video. Today I'm going to show you Kaohsiung and just show you, was the earthquake bad in these parts? Anyways, I'm on my way down to the beach where apparently you shouldn't go after an earthquake in the case of a tsunami, but I'm gonna go see what the people's mood are. I hear there's somewhat of a party going on down there. All right, made it to Tijing. Again, I know, I basically live here. I come here so often. Basically, my main point is that although there was, tragedies in Hualien, people still lost their lives. 9 people lost their lives as the recording of this video. Over 1,000 people injured. These things did happen, but in Hualien. And my main point is that I don't think that American news outlets or any other news outlets really have a very good idea of what's going on in Taiwan, unless, of course, they're talking about China. They just don't seem to have a really good understanding of what's going on in Taiwan. I'm meeting, finally, Topher from his YouTube channel. I've had a lot of people ask me to film with you, and finally we get to meet up.
Yeah, we wore matching glasses too.
Yeah, damn near matching shirts too. This is nice. Basically, your channel focuses quite a lot on what's going on with China. You used to be in the American military.
Right.
So thank you for your service.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know. What's the attitude of Americans towards Taiwan?
Most Americans don't really even think about Taiwan. Most Americans don't think about anything outside of America. Taiwan specifically, they're only really exposed to Taiwan's relationship with China.
Do you think that's probably why when this earthquake happened, you have messages of like, oh, I hope you're okay, or marking yourself as safe on Facebook when you didn't even get an alert on your phone about the earthquake?
Yeah, here in Kaohsiung, there wasn't even an alert that went out, which I'm a little critical of. I think there should have been one, but it's okay, I get it. It wasn't that big of a deal here. Maybe a little scary to a noob like me.
Right.
That was the biggest earthquake I've ever been in.
Do you think that there's a certain complacency among Taiwanese? Like I said that Taiwanese people are very resilient and they're very calm under pressure. But do you think that could be looked at as complacency because Taiwan has so many earthquakes that they're just so used to it that they don't even bother taking safety precautions?
I kind of got that impression actually, because when that happened and after the aftershocks, I was the only one in my building who was like going down the stairwell to get out of the building.
Right, I was even worse. I filmed the goddamn thing. My survival instincts are trash.
Well, I realized that, hey, I'm the only one who's doing anything about this. Maybe it's fine. And it did end up being just fine here in Kaohsiung. My Taiwanese coworkers, they didn't even mention anything about the earthquake.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't even talk about it.
Yeah, so it's crazy how much of a big deal it is in the States or other parts of the world, where here it really wasn't that big of a deal, unless of course you're in Hualien, because at the end of the day, while most Taiwanese people are rather unfazed, 9 people, as of the recording of this video, have lost their lives. Over 1,000 people are injured. There's people missing.
Right.
I mean, in the epicenter, I think it's a lot worse. And that's why I think these news agencies, although I appreciate them taking the time to interview me and talking to me about it, I didn't really have it that bad. And I think that the reason that they were able to contact me is because I have a channel and I have an audience, and my Instagram reel got a lot of views, and that's why they contacted me for the interview. But I think it would have been a lot more valuable for people outside of Taiwan to understand Taiwan if they got maybe a local in Hualien to talk about it rather than just me.
Yeah, I think, because in the American media, it's a business, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a phrase, if it leads, it bleeds. So they're trying to find shocking content to get the clicks, to get the views, and they're competing with everyone else in that business. Right. So once they saw your Instagram reel, I think they reached out to you, not really knowing that you were so far away from the epicenter.
Right.
Right. It's a big ask to think an American has a good idea of Taiwan's geography.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I just wish that maybe, Taiwan got more attention from the outside world for things that weren't tragedies, like the relationship with China or natural disasters, you know what I mean? I feel like they'll pay attention to Japan when something in tech happens, or they'll pay attention to Korea when something big in K-pop happens. But Taiwan doesn't really get that attention, despite the fact that Taiwan does produce quite a lot of really good movies and music and media. The rest of the world just doesn't seem to care.
Yeah, Taiwan does have a really cool arts culture, but I don't think Taiwan does a very good job of exporting that culture.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for coming on the channel and meeting me, man. Finally.
Hey, it's great to meet you, man. Yeah.
I mean, we've met before. I
Yeah,
just
we
didn't
have.
film it
It's
because
okay.
we suck at our jobs.
That's true.